Friends, greetings to everyone. Expert support is here, and today we will discuss the forwarding module, which is located in a special modules. The module is designed for convenience in working with your accounts, so that you don't have to log into multiple accounts on Telegram, desktop, or phone to communicate with them. This module can do all this work for you. It forwards messages to the chat, either to your operators or to you. You can respond to the messages, and the software from these accounts forwards them back to the users from whom these messages came. To better understand how it works, I will demonstrate the settings and all these moments to you now. First, we need to go to the accounts. I have 3 accounts here, and we will create a chat first. The chat is created to forward messages from selected accounts and for you or your operators to respond to messages. Let's name it Forwarder. Click Next and click Create. By default, Telegram chats are created as groups, but we need a supergroup. To create one, we need to set an avatar. Select our photo. Set the avatar for our chat. Go to Group Management. Choose the group type Public. Set a username for it. Save all of this and remove the username. This way, the group will become a supergroup that our software will work with. Go to Group Management, copy the link. That's it, we have it now. Next, insert the link into the software. The software can also work with multiple chats simultaneously. More links can be specified. For example, if you want to distribute the load, messages will be sent to different chats from all accounts. For example, you create 5 chats, assign 1 person to each chat, and all the messages are forwarded there. The operator, the person who responds in the chat, replies to all incoming messages and has conversations, while the software forwards messages from all your accounts back. Next is the second account, which we will use to respond in the chats. The key point is that the account that is the creator of the chat does not respond to messages. It just creates it and forgets about it. So, you don't perform any actions in the chats from this account. We join the chat from our account that will respond in this chat. Go to the software settings. I would also like to note that this module is very demanding on proxies because, as I think you understand, communication is happening in both directions. There is constant forwarding, monitoring of incoming messages, and other aspects. Therefore, for this module to work correctly, you need to use high quality and stable proxies. It is preferable to use static elite proxies or individual ones. But if you choose the cheaper options, for example, server proxies, they will also work fine. It all depends on the individual case. Currently, in the software, there are server proxies for the forwarding module. They are inexpensive. This is a quite optimal option. There are websites where proxies are sold for 3 or 5 days, which are cheaper. It's all individual, so test them in advance. The main thing to consider is that if any problems occur with the module, pay attention to your proxies. Because, as I mentioned earlier, stable and high-quality proxies are crucial here. Choose the accounts from which we will forward incoming messages. Here, we have selected 4 accounts, and all incoming messages will be forwarded to them in our chat. The second account will respond in this chat. Then, specify the software settings, such as simulating the typing status for the user, which means that when a message is sent, the user to whom the operator writes will see that the operator is typing. You can specify a delay for simulating the typing status for users. specifying a value range. This is the number of seconds that the typing status will appear to the user, indicating that you are supposedly typing a message. Also, you can specify a delay before sending a text message to a group and a delay before sending a text message to a user. Here, you specify delays to calculate the smoothness of message sending, so that everything does not happen at the same time. This allows operators to gradually respond to incoming messages. For example, next is the flood setting. If the flood value for an account is lower than the specified value, the software waits for the flood time and continues working afterwards. If the flood on an account exceeds the specified value, the software stops the account. There is also a setting to forward old unread messages. For example, if you are sending messages to chat rooms and someone sends you a private message, there is still some time between when you restart the same account. For example, on the forwarding module to respond to people and intercept messages. By enabling the option to forward old messages, the software will forward old unread messages, so you don't lose messages on the accounts. In any situation, if there is a failure with the proxies, for example, if the proxies are disconnected, you can use this setting so that you don't lose any messages. Also, for example, you won't be sitting with operators around the clock to respond to messages. You can run your accounts for forwarding for a few hours a day or as long as you need. This way, you won't lose messages as we have configured the module. We have selected our accounts and click Start. The account usernames have been copied in advance. As we can see, the connection is being established. Here, introductions to this chat are taking place. All our accounts have joined here to have the ability to forward messages to and from near. Let's go to an account that does not interact with these accounts and let's find the first person. For example, and let's send them any random message. Then let's find our second account and send them another message. As we can see here, the messages have been read, but we have not yet switched to the chat. The messages are there. They have been set. Next, let's go to our account that will respond to these messages. But we only have 4 accounts, and we have sent messages from 2 of them. And we see that we have messages from the first and second accounts in our chat. The response is simple. I would like to remind you again that the creator of this chat does not respond to messages. They are just the creator here. People who join later are the ones who respond. So the chronology is as follows. You create a chat from one account. The accounts that will respond join it in a private chat. And then you launch the accounts that will forward messages in both directions. Here, let's, for example, respond to the message and also respond to the second one. Please note that the software automatically sets a reaction to the message that has already been sent from the recipient's account to the sender of that message. And when your response is sent to the sender, they will also react. Your chat will also show the dialogue. Since our messages on both accounts were sent from one account, we have the same dialogue ID. But if you have multiple accounts in use, you will see different dialogue IDs and be able to track the chronology of the dialogues. For example, by clicking on this dialogue, we currently have all the messages, but you will be able to track the messages that were sent to you, which is very convenient for example, to not get lost in the chronology of correspondence or communication, and so on. We go to our accounts and see that we have received messages. The software also supports all options, such as emojis, stickers, and so on. In other words, the software will forward everything that is sent to you. Media, pictures, IMEO, and voice messages. The software supports all these formats. Let's send emojis here. Let's also send emojis here. In other words, any options. It supports sending media and other moments, including in both directions. We see that we have incoming messages. Let's reply, for example, to this message with a picture. And let's reply to this message, for example, with just text. As we can see, it is marked with a reaction here, and here too. Accordingly, the messages have been sent to the recipients. That is, to the accounts that route them, as we can see. A photo is received. It is received here too. The software forwards in both directions. And there are no problems in this regard. Well, the only thing, again, I repeat, quality stable proxies are important. One of the options you can test is server proxies. Look for websites, check suppliers, choose. As I already said, the average price for such proxies is not high, and having one account on one proxy at the same time is the optimal option. But in the future, you can aim not just one account on one IP, but several accounts, so, well, this moment is individual. You tested yourself and try. So keep this in mind. Keep in mind that stable and quality proxies are needed. In principle, there is nothing particularly difficult. Everything is quite simple if, for example, you have corresponded with everything. You stopped the task, restarted the software, went away or left. After some time, you need to continue the correspondence. Turn on forwarding old unread messages. And accordingly, the software will forward old unread messages from all accounts. So it depends on your tasks. Module management is quite simple. You may have 100, 200, 300 accounts in operation, and for all that come, there will be forwarding. Do not forget the moment that you can distribute. If you work with a large volume of information and think that you will have a large volume of messages, you can distribute, that is, specify several links here. Because in this case, accounts will take certain dialogues from different chats, send them to specific chats, but in general, it will be systematic to such an extent that approximately equal amounts of dialogues will be sent to different chats. This is especially convenient when you have many accounts, several operators who respond either to different chats or to certain topics. In general, in this regard, you decide for yourself how you can configure these additional options. If you need, for example, when sending, the user who wrote to you had the status typing. That is, for a certain amount of time, if you want to set smooth sending to the group and from the group to the user. You can also configure these moments. For example, by specifying 10 to 20 seconds, but keep in mind these delays. And thus, with different delays, messages will come to you in the chat and messages will be sent to users. and do not forget about dialogues, about dialogue tags, which you can use to track the history of correspondence. Remember what I said. So, again, I will repeat the key point is quality proxies, even more stable ones, because some proxies are more accurate. Many proxies break the connection. And if the connection is interrupted in this module, so to speak, it is very bad, because stability is needed here. So in this case, individual proxies, for example, will be suitable. If you have elite proxies, you can try server proxies for your accounts, but not server proxies that are sold by traffic, but server proxies that are sold individually, without a traffic limit. As I have already said, there are quite a few sites with different countries of these proxies and cheap prices. And then it will not be too expensive to use one proxy of one account. I think the logic and essence of the module are clear. I will not focus on the application of the module, because how to apply this module and what moment you want to apply it, where you need it, only you decide. I just gave examples of what you can send from accounts, make mailings to chats, and from these chats, for example, them and the text of your messages lead to writing to you in private messages, and accordingly, so that many accounts do not log in and do everything in the software. It will be very suitable for you. This module is such a cyclical work. People write to you in private messages. You communicate with them, so to speak, either you or operators through this format, so to speak, forwarding in both directions. That is, because as you saw, let me show it again. To this account, they wrote to this account, since it is in our software. The message was forwarded to this chat. Here, the operator responded to this message. And the same. The account sent the operator's message on its behalf. Do not confuse these moments. Study carefully. Understand the specifics of the module and the meaning of its work. That is, communication is conducted from your accounts. Operators here act as operators who communicate, and it is convenient to see who answered what the reactions that are provided in one chat. Accordingly, several operators can sit. The only point is to solve how they do not confuse each other. In general, I think everything is clear. I explained and said the main points of the module's work. So thank you all for watching. Good luck to everyone and goodbye.